Hey YouTube, Jim here. Welcome to Top 10 Archive. In the past few years, we've witnessed just how terrifying Mother Nature can be. Storms wreak havoc on our planet, and tornadoes are just one of the many ways in which Earth sometimes reminds us who's boss. Thanks to the advancement of video technology and the bravery of storm chasers, the internet is awash with crazy footage of near misses with terrifying twisters. Today we're revealing the best of the best, the top 10 craziest tornadoes caught on camera. But before we get started, why not become an archivist today by clicking that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. If you end up enjoying this video, let us know by giving it a thumbs up, and in the comment section, tell us if you've ever had a close call with Mother Nature. Number 9. Woman sucked up in her car. It's everyone's worst nightmare. You're driving along when suddenly a tornado touches down so close that you have no way of escaping its path of terror. This happened to Lauren Minot in 2011 when she was on her way to work in Cullman, Alabama. She sees the tornado coming and stops her car to record it before realizing that she's way too close and the twister is headed right for her. Lauren turns her car around and tries to escape, but it's too late. Watch what happens. Lauren screams as her car is tossed around like a toy with her inside it. She's thrown around for an agonizing 15 seconds and is smashed into the side of a building before the whirlwind finally moves on, dumping her back down onto the street. Visibly terrified, Lauren knows she was lucky to survive her ordeal and suggests that others don't make the same mistake and get too close to a tornado. Number 8. Fire tornado. Tornadoes are scary, and so is fire, so imagine combining the two. It's something straight out of a horror movie. It was the summer of 2018 when wildfires had California's residents evacuating their properties to escape the terrifying wall of fire that was consuming their homes. Horrifying footage poured out of the area as people tried to leave town down roads surrounded by burning bushes and properties. Most scary of all, though, was the fire tornado which formed during the blaze. The fire plume was around 300 meters or 1,000 feet in diameter and was traveling up to 165 miles per hour or 265 kilometers an hour. This monster sadly killed 37-year-old Jeremy Stoke, a fire inspector with the Redding Fire Department. According to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, Stoke lost his life after becoming entrapped in the fire tornado. Number 7. Andover Tornado. On April 26, 1991, a total of 55 tornadoes touched down between Texas and Minnesota, and Wichita was the location of the strongest twister. It was on the ground for 69 miles, and at its widest, it was 500 yards or a third of a mile wide. As it tore through Kansas, it measured EF5 on the Fujita scale, and its winds were estimated to be reaching up to 260 miles or 418 kilometers per hour. McConnell Air Force Base is located close to Wichita, Kansas, and it was almost wiped off the map by the huge tornado. Watch as the twister moves closer and closer to the cameraman, while he seems more interested in capturing this incredible footage than keeping himself safe. 21 people died that day, and thousands were left homeless, changing the face of Kansas forever. Number 6. Tornado slams into farmhouse. When a tornado touched down just 3 miles outside of Campbell in Wilkin County near the North Dakota border, the town's residents knew they were in for a rough ride. But the unfortunate owners of this farmhouse were the unlucky ones this time. Watch as the driver of a car captures the moment it's torn to pieces by the whirling wind. Just like that, the entire property is obliterated. Despite suffering an injury of his own, the driver shooting the video decides to go check on the owners of the farmhouse. As debris flies at him, he continues to drive towards the twister with only the safety of others in mind. There's no word on what happened to the farmhouse owners, but one thing's for sure, this guy is a hero. Number 5. Inside the eye of the storm. Not many people can claim to have survived the eye of a tornado, but Dustin Denny can, and he has the video to prove it. In the spring of 2011, more than 100 tornadoes touched down across the U.S. in a matter of hours. One of the worst twisters bulldozed its way through Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and seemed to be finished with its rampage. But then, it had second thoughts. It headed directly for Fultondale, where Dustin had been tracking the storm all day. He thinks the bad weather outside is just that, bad weather. But, to be safe, he tracks the tornadoes on local news stations and online. While filming the weather outside, Dustin pans across to reveal this giant dark funnel. Before he can react, the tornado is directly over his apartment building. Dustin runs inside to protect himself from the onslaught, but then decides that he wants to capture more of the film on camera instead. Watch this footage from inside the storm. Through the darkness, Dustin felt the wind pulling him from his apartment and saw trees being pummeled by the force of the twister. Number 4. Tornado tosses farm equipment. Storm chasers have perhaps the craziest job ever, and this video proves just how close they'll get to a tornado to capture the perfect shots. This footage shows an EF4 tornado that touched down on South Dakota farmland near the town of Bowdle in 2010. The team realizes that they're dealing with a monster when they see large farm equipment being tossed around by the wind as if it weighed nothing. Trees bend and twist under the force of the storm as the funnel grows wider and changes paths with terrifying speed. At one point, the team sees that the giant storm on the horizon might be coming straight for them, and they pause for a second to assess whether or not they're in trouble. Look how close they get to the tornado here. I can't decide whether these guys are brave or completely mad. Number 3. Security camera captures surprise tornado. This security camera footage shows exactly how quickly a storm can pounce on a town and why so many people get caught outside by escalating weather. In November 2013, a series of 73 tornadoes wreaked havoc on the Midwest, resulting in 11 deaths and more than 100 injuries. 2 EF4 twisters ripped through Illinois, and this video captures the moment one of them completely destroys a couple's home and everything in it. The man filming the video lives in Washington, Illinois. The huge dark whirlwind can be seen approaching the man and his property, and it's clear he knows he and his partner are about to be in for a rough ride. But nothing could have prepared them for this direct hit. It's only a matter of seconds until the worst is over, and when the man emerges from his hiding place, he can't believe the devastation he's faced with. And that wasn't the worst of it. Some of their neighbors' houses had completely disappeared. Number 1. Largest tornado ever. In May of 2013, a terrifying EF5 tornado ripped through Oklahoma, killing 23 people and injuring almost 400 others. The storm left Oklahoma residents reeling from their ordeal. But just 5 days later, another tornado would tear through the same state that would be more than twice the size of the one that came before it. At 2.6 miles or 4 kilometers wide, this was the largest tornado ever recorded. Watch it as it forms over a lone house in the countryside. Even at that point, it was ginormous, but that was nothing compared to what it was going to turn into. The storm was actually deceptive, as to most onlookers, it seemed as though it was a series of small twisters rampaging through Oklahoma. But it was actually one giant super tornado, and as it headed towards Oklahoma City, it caused an unbelievable amount of destruction. This storm took many seasoned storm chasers by surprise and sadly claimed the life of renowned storm chaser Tim Samaras, his son Paul, and meteorologist Carl Young. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tell us of your twists on these stories in the comments below. Then make our heads spin with delight by subscribing, clicking the bell, and giving this video a like. Now, go play Twister with someone you love.